Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be crocheting this cute little caterpillar buddy. It can either be made into just a regular caterpillar or a baby rattle. I'm going to be using Craft Smart yarn today in 3 different colors. You can use any yarn, just make sure that you're using a slightly smaller hook size than what the yarn calls for. And you may have to adjust a couple of stitches to the left or to the right based off of your tension, your hook size, and things like that. But it won't be too difficult to accommodate any type of yarn that you prefer. You will also need some little craft bells. I got these, I think, at like the Dollar Tree. They're super cheap. And that's just to make the little tingling inside of the baby rattle if you want to make this little caterpillar into a baby rattle. You will also need a darning needle, and I am using size 4 yarn, so I'm using a 4.25 millimeter hook. You will also need a pair of scissors, and you will need a stitch marker. The last 2 things that you will need is a very small amount of polyfill and some black yarn to do the embroidery for the eyes and the mouth. If you're not making this for an infant, you can use safety eyes, but if you are making this into a baby rattle or a infant or toddler toy, I really recommend embroidering the eyes on because safety eyes are unsafe, despite the name, for infants. The last thing that I wanted to say before we get started on this is that this is a beginner-friendly pattern. However, I am not going over how to do every type of stitch. So I will have a list of stitches that you will need to have a basic knowledge of before beginning this project. I really think that as long as you've done 1 or maybe 2 amigurumi projects before, then you should be totally fine. So we're going to be beginning by creating the face of the caterpillar. So use whatever yarn color you want the head to be. We're going to create a magic ring, and we're going to be putting 6 single crochet into that magic ring. Now we're going to pull our magic ring closed, but don't pull it too tight because then it will make the first single crochet hard to find whenever we're doing our next round. For round 2, we're going to be doing 6 increases. So that means that you're going to be putting 2 single crochet in each of the single crochet stitches from round 1, and you're going to end up with 12 stitches. After you finish round 2 and you've confirmed that you have 12 stitches, you can finish pulling that ring tight. For round 3, we're going to be doing a single crochet in the first stitch and then 2 single crochets in the second, so an increase. And you're just going to repeat that pattern of single crochet, increase all the way around. So you're going to have 18 stitches at the end of round 3. Round 4 is the trickiest round because we're going to be using this round to create the antennae. For this reason, I do recommend using a stitch marker for this round if you haven't been already. I always do my first 3 stitches, which are just going to be 3 single crochet, and then I put my stitch marker in the first one. And then I'm going to do 5 more single crochet, so we're doing 8 total single crochet to get to the top of the head, no increases involved. Now we are going to start forming the antennae by chaining 7. Once you get to the top of your chain 7, you're going to count down 3 chains from the hook. The loop on your hook does not count as a chain, and you're going to slip stitch into that 3rd chain from your hook. Continue to slip stitch into the next 4 chains until you get back to the body of the caterpillar. Now after those 4 slip stitches, we're going to rejoin back to the face of the caterpillar. So find your next single crochet space and single crochet into it. Now we are going to form the second antennae, and it's going to be the same process as the first. So chain 7. Find the third chain from your hook, slip stitch into it, and the next 4 chains. Now we are going to rejoin back to our circle by finding that next single crochet space and single crocheting into it and the next 7 spaces. You should have 18 single crochets by the end of this round. For round 5, we're going to put a single crochet in each of the 18 single crochet from round 4. When you get to the antennae, push them forward and carry your yarn behind them. You'll know that you've done enough stitches before the first antennae if you have 8, and then there'll be 2 stitches that you're going to single crochet in between the 2 antennae. There should be 8 single crochet after your second antennae. You should take a moment now to weave in the end from your magic ring. Make sure you're going up and down stitches so that way it doesn't come loose. Now you can start embroidering the face. I embroider the eyes by wrapping the string around the 3rd row. I start the inside of the eye where the opening of a stitch is below the antennae. If you're making this into a baby rattle, it is important to embroider the eyes on instead of using safety eyes, as safety eyes are choking hazards for children under 2. I start the smile on one side of round 1 and carry the yarn to the other side. Then I take my needle in and out of the same stitch at the bottom of the round 1 so that it pulls the smile down into a smile shape. Now you can tie your ends together and make sure you trim them so that way the black yarn does not show through the rest of the face. Now we are going to continue building up the rest of our head. We're going to be putting a single crochet in each of the single crochet from round 5. So for round 6, you should have 18 single crochet. For round 7, we're going to be doing a single crochet and then an invisible decrease. And we're going to repeat that pattern all the way around so that we have 12 stitches at the end of this round. When you're doing the last yarn over of your last invisible decrease, change color to your next body color. For round 8, we are going to be working in the front loop only. We're going to work a single crochet into the front loop of the first stitch and then do 2 single crochet into the next front loop of the next stitch as an increase, and we're going to repeat that pattern all the way around until you have 18 stitches. When you finish round 8, I would double knot your ends and trim them so that way they don't come undone. For round 9, we're back to working in both loops, and we're just going to be working a single crochet into each of the single crochet spaces from the previous round, leaving us with 18 stitches at the end. During round 10, we are going to create some of the legs. We're going to place a single crochet in each of the first 3 stitches. In the 4th stitch, we're going to be creating our first bobble stitch. To do this, we are going to yarn over, insert our hook into the stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops on your hook. The goal is to create several unfinished double crochet stitches. So we're going to yarn over, go back into that same stitch, yarn over and pull through 2 loops. For every unfinished double crochet, it will add a loop to your hook, and we're going to create 4 of the unfinished double crochets. So just continue the pattern of yarning over, going into the stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and go through the first 2 loops, and then once you have 5 loops on your hook, we're going to yarn over and pull through all 5 loops. That has created your first foot, so now we're just going to continue single crocheting into the next stitches. That first one is kind of hard to get into. You really need to pull it very tight so that way the little foot kind of pops out the way it's supposed to. So you should have 13 single crochets, and then at the very last stitch of the round, we're going to create our second foot. Now we are going to create our second bobble stitch, so we're just going to be doing that same yarn over, go into the stitch, yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops until we have 5 loops on our hook. Round 11, we're just going to be doing a single crochet in each of the spaces from the previous round. You should only have 1 single crochet going into each bobble stitch, so you will still have 18 at the end. When you look at your caterpillar belly side up, the feet should more or less align with the antennae and the eyes. Based on your tension, your hook size, and your yarn type, you may need to move the bobble stitches 1 to the left or 1 to the right. The most important thing is to just keep 3 single crochet between each foot. For round 12, we are going to be doing a single crochet in the first stitch and an invisible decrease across the next 2 stitches. At the end of the round, you should have 12 stitches. Color change into your next body color during the last yarn over of your last invisible decrease. For round 13, we are going to be working in the front loop only again. We're going to be doing a single crochet in the first front loop and then 2 single crochets in the front loop of the next stitch. Repeat this single crochet increase pattern all the way around until you have 18 stitches. Double knot your ends and trim them. The next step is going to be beginning the stuffing of the caterpillar. I always put a little bit of stuffing in the front of the face, and then I add in a bell and I sandwich it with more polyfill. If you're artistic in the way that you stuff it, then you can really use the polyfill to accentuate every little section of the body. For round 14, just work a single crochet into each of the stitch spaces from the previous round so that you have 18 single crochet at the end of this round. For round 15, we are going to be making 2 more caterpillar legs. So in that very first stitch, we're going to yarn over, go into the stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, and yarn over and go through the first 2 loops on our hook. And we're going to repeat that pattern until we've created a bobble stitch. Make 3 single crochets in between the 2 legs. In the 5th stitch of round 15, we are going to be making another bobble stitch. Now single crochet into the next 13 stitches to finish off this round. Make sure that first single crochet after the bobble stitch is really tight so that way the feet can pop out like they're supposed to. For round 16, single crochet in each of the 18 stitches from round 15. You should have 18 single crochet at the end of this round. For round 7, we're going to be doing a single crochet in the first space and then an invisible decrease over the next 2 stitches. So we're going to have 12 stitches after we've repeated this pattern all the way around. Change to your final body color in the last yarn over of the last invisible decrease. For round 18, we are going to be working in the front loop only again. In that first front loop, do a single crochet, and in the second front loop, we're going to be doing 2 single crochet as an increase. Repeat this pattern all the way around so that you have 18 stitches at the end of your round. Tie your ends together and make sure you trim them. For round 19, we're going to be doing a single crochet in each stitch from the previous round, so you should have 18 single crochet at the end of this round. During round 20, we are going to be creating our final set of legs, so we're going to do 1 single crochet in the first stitch and a bobble stitch in the second stitch of round 20. Work 3 single crochet in between the feet of round 20. In the 6th stitch of round 20, create a bobble stitch. Single crochet in the next 12 stitches to complete this round. For round 21, we are going to be doing a single crochet in each stitch so that we have 18 single crochet at the end of this round. Stuff any body parts that you haven't already, sandwiching a bell in each one and trying to accentuate each body section. For round 22, we are going to be doing a single crochet in the first stitch and an invisible decrease over the next 2 stitches. Repeat this single crochet invisible decrease pattern all the way around until you have 12 stitches. For round 23, we're going to do an invisible decrease 6 times, so you will have 6 stitches at the end of this round. If you haven't already, add any stuffing and any bells that you need to add before closing up this caterpillar. Use your darning needle to go into the outside loops of all of the 6 stitches to cinch it closed and weave in your tail. Congratulations, you have now finished up your little caterpillar baby rattle. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today and making this cute little caterpillar buddy. I am going to be having another tutorial coming out soon. I'm sorry that this one was a little bit later than I had promised. We've had some really not fun, interesting things happening in our pregnancy, and it's kept me away from recording YouTube. But thank you guys so much for your support. I am overwhelmed at how much my channel has grown over the past month and a half, and I love every single one of you.